After literally hours of trying to figure out how to get my computer to shut up with the fan, I have officially decided that I need a small water cooler, water cooling system of some kind, or maybe just stick it in a mini fridge. I'm not really sure. It's getting quite annoying, and so probably my new build to have that. But anyway, hello everybody. This is Ninja Bacon, a very, very small, minor member of the H1Z1 community, and this video is I'm not really too big of a fan of rant videos, but today, you know what, screw it, this is kind of a rant video, and today I want to rant about something that has been bothering me for some time, and it is my defense for H1Z1. Now I know I'm probably gonna sound like some ignorant, ridiculous fanboy, and a lot of people are probably going to hate on me going, you're just a fanboy. You shut your mouth. You provocative. But keep in mind, this is simply my opinion. I'm not speaking facts here. I'm speaking opinion. I mean, I will state some facts, but this is really mostly just my opinion. And I'm a small YouTuber, so my opinion probably doesn't mean that much. It's just, it's something I just want to kind of put out there and get out of the way and see how you guys react. And I am also aware of the hate, so I do have my windows barred up with iron bars all across them, and I have a shotgun right next to me. So when the hate comes in my comment section, I'm ready. I'm prepared. But anyway, on to what I wanted to talk about with H1Z1. I feel like H1Z1 is getting a lot of hate for, granted, some legit reasons, others not so much. Now, I've noticed H1Z1 doesn't have a huge community, and I'm sure the community will grow over time, especially when it becomes free to play. You're probably going to be seeing a lot more people buying the game, or getting the game, I should say, when it's free to play, which is understandable. However, I am seeing tons of hate for this game, and I understand there's some things that people wouldn't like. I mean, I understand that this game's really not for everybody. Some people aren't a fan of the graphics. Some people just don't like zombie survival games, which I could perfectly understand that. I don't play Madden. I don't think Madden's a bad game, but it's not for me. I don't play Madden. And it's kind of the same with this game, If you don't like it, that's fine. I'm not trying to convince you that you should absolutely, this game is a must-have, 10 out of 10 IGN. I'm not trying to convince anybody of that. I'm just, stating why I think there's some reasons that have been thrown around that don't really mean too much. Now, I think one big part of the lack that H1Z1 is having is, honestly, the burn of other early access games. Now, I don't think H1Z1 should have gone on early access simply because of the amount of awful trash that is early access games. If you go on the Steam early access, there's treasures in there, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying all early access games are garbage, but a good chunk of them are. A good chunk of these early alpha games are garbage, and most of them never even get finished. And I think, honestly, people have gotten burned by that so many times that they really don't want to give H1Z1 a chance. Oh, early access zombie survival MMO? Well, DayZ has been out for over a year now and is nowhere near better than what it was, and War Z was a complete scam. Why am I going to spend my time with H1Z1, which is a legitimate reason I can understand. However, I will say, in defense for this game, this has got to be one of the most well-made, complete early accesses I've ever seen. Now, granted, it's not perfect. There are bugs. However, I'm not one of those people who sits there and say, well, there's some bugs in DayZ Standalone. No, DayZ Standalone, I love it, is full of bugs. I've ran into some glitchy character models and some lighting issues in H1Z1. It's about all I've seen. Now, I have seen videos of other things, but for my experience personally, for the hours I've put into this game so far, haven't ran into too much of that. Another thing that I think is turning people off is honestly the pay-to-win aspect of it. I mean, I know that probably, now, in defense for the game, again, I understand why some people hear you buy a crate and you get supplies, and they automatically think pay to win. I can understand that. However, I don't necessarily see the game as pay to win. When you drop in a crate, planes fly overhead, alerting the whole server. Anybody who's watching this plays H1Z1 has probably heard the buzzing noise, and most of you probably know what that is. That is a supply crate coming in and dropping at a location. You can see the plane from a good distance away, and you can hear it from just about anywhere. And it alerts everybody in that area. And you know what's going to happen? People are going to crowd to that area, and try and get that crate. Now, that's just one part of it. People are like, yeah, but there's guns inside. There is a chance for guns, yes. But I don't think people really understand how small that chance is. I don't remember the exact percentages. It might be more. I believe it was somewhere between 15 and 20% chance of a gun. And that's a very small chance if you can even manage to get the crate you called in. You get the crate you called in, you're not even guaranteed to get anything out of the crate. You know, for all you know, you could have maybe a pistol with some rounds and you call in a crate. Next thing you know, these 4 guys with shotguns in a Jeep roll up, blow you away, and take all your stuff. Is that really pay to win? I don't know. I don't consider it pay to win. Especially because there's still a very high and significant chance of losing. Also, another thing that's probably turning people off, this is early access, so there is a lack of content. However, I'm going to make comparisons to another game that everybody's basically comparing this game to, is DayZ. You had DayZ. Development for over a year. We finally got one truck. H1Z1 been out for a month. We have, on release, we had 3 different vehicles. So I can see, and on top of that, I forgot to mention, they are updating this game constantly. No, they're not adding tons of stuff. People are going, oh, why isn't there more stuff? Right now, they're just ironing out all the bugs and hackers that are currently in the game. And they've even stated that they don't plan on adding too much, if anything at all, to the game for a while. They want to wait until they have enough community feedback to release their roadmap so that they can say, okay, here's our plans, here's what we want to do. What would you guys like to see? What would you guys like to make the priority? So no, you're not going to be playing this game and it's going to be constantly getting updates full of stuff for a while. But I can almost guarantee you, when the roadmap comes out, you're going to be seeing all sorts of new features get implemented. This, that, whatever, whatever the community wants to see. Now, another thing that I do want to mention is I want to compare the companies behind DayZ and H1Z1. Sony and Bohemia. I'm not even going to mention WarZ or Infestation or whatever the heck it's called, OP Productions. That was a complete scam. Gave a bad name for the rest of these games. The rest of these games now have a bad name because of them. But let's look at... Why'd I have my phone have to go off? Let's look at Sony. Sony is a big AAA company. I don't know if they're exactly AAA, but they're a big company. So, yes, there can be, I love you, Sony, but there are some sketchy things that can go on behind in some of these offices and corporate offices and such. However, then you have Bohemia, who, frankly, I love them as well. I love Dean Hall. But we're just not seeing much done with the game. There are inventory bugs that have been in there since day one that are still there. No, I don't want a new colored coat. I want to be able to switch weapons, So, on one hand, you have a somewhat, I don't know, might not be 100% trustworthy, might be, you don't know, company, Sony. On the other hand, you have a company that, doesn't do a whole lot. However, what would you rather have? A company that's, we're not really sure about. However, it's constantly updating the game. And let's compare it to PlanetSide. PlanetSide was a good game. I highly enjoyed PlanetSide. It was very well made. But let's compare that to a game to Bohemia, which did DayZ, which was we're rarely getting updates anymore. Frankly, I'd rather have more updates to the game, especially when it comes to ironing out bugs and hackers. And honestly, there's a huge lack of bugs in this compared to most zombie survival games. Granted, it's not perfect, like I've mentioned. It's not perfect, but it is much better than some of the stuff I've seen before. These are all just hopes, like I'm saying, and I'm not saying that any of this is guaranteed facts. However, I can tell you that most of this, well, some of this is facts. But I don't want any hate from people just saying, oh, you were wrong about this. I could be wrong about all of this. You don't know. Now, I'll be honest with you, the whole thing about Sony being a sketchy company is kind of just from my experiences with all companies. However, I will say, compared to other companies, Sony is one of the better ones. They have really cared more about the games in the past. I mean, they've had their share of faults as well in the past. However, I can say they are one of the better companies when it comes to the balance between just, wanting the money and caring about the games. They're not perfect, but I kind of wasn't really thinking about what I was saying before I said that. I kind of just was going on a diluted rant. So, I mean, everybody has their faults, but Sony is probably one of the better ones. But anyway, off from that topic, I think another big issue is honestly the YouTube community. Now, I'm not talking about the people who enjoy H1Z1. I'm talking about some of the YouTubers, some of the very big, popular YouTubers. Some of you might know who I'm talking about. Where, they tried playing the game on early access, and I'm sorry, H1Z1, your staff team, but the release, I think we all can agree, was a nightmare. The release was an absolute disaster. And a lot of these big YouTubers tried playing it within like the 24 hours, maybe more, maybe I'm not sure exactly how long it was, that the game was just garbage, frankly. And they tried playing it then, and then they were going, 2 hours to get into a server. Jeez, this is ridiculous. Wow, this game. And now there's millions of people viewing these videos going, really? This game looks like it kind of sucks. And I think that was kind of a whole hesitation thing where people are kind of like, is it going to always be like this? And I can tell you right now, I have no problem getting into servers anymore. I think the longest wait time I've had is... I think one time on a very high server, 10 minutes, but my average wait time is a minute to instantaneous, maybe 2 minutes. That's probably around my average wait time. Like I said, I think the highest after they fixed all this stuff was probably around 10 minutes, and that was on what was already a very high population server. So I just think kind of the thing with YouTube kind of didn't really help it too much. There are some big YouTubers out there who are really enjoying it, but then you got other guys who are saying, I tried it, the game was trash. When, honestly, they kind of tried to play it on release when, honestly, the game was garbage. But my final thoughts are really just, I think H1Z1 kind of deserves a second chance. I don't think it's for everybody. I can understand why some people wouldn't like it, I'm not trying to shove it down your throat saying, take this, it is the most amazing game you will ever play, and if you don't, you will die. I'm not trying to say that at all. I can understand that this game isn't for everybody, but honestly, I think the game deserves more of a chance that people are giving it. When the reviews on this are mixed compared to other more broken, less complete, less content-filled games that are getting positive reviews, it's like, really? So, I don't know. I guess we'll just see where the road takes us for this game. Hopefully, it'll look bright in the future. But those are just my thoughts. Feel free to leave what you guys think. Feel free to leave hate, because I know most of you guys probably will, because the internet doesn't like opinions. Opinions, what are those? Anyway, thank you guys for listening to my little rant. I love you all, and I will see you guys next time.